Hello friends, in this video I will be talking about measurement of risk. Now that you've studied so much about risk management, you studied about risk tolerance, risk budgeting, all these terms, whichever you studied, these are only theoretical meanings. Ultimately, it all comes down to this topic, which is measurement of risk. This is the most important topic of this chapter. How do you measure risk? If I want to say that this investment is really risky, how do I say it is risky? So I can find out its standard deviation. That is what you studied in the earlier chapters. So that was just one part. Let's study in detail. So in front of you is a chart regarding how to measure risks. The first one is standard deviation. Then we can find out beta. फिर आएगा delta, gamma, vega, rho. Delta, gamma, vega, rho is really new for you. This refers to measurement of derivative risks. We will be studying it in detail. Next is duration for fixed income securities. There is value at risk and conditional value at risk. We have to study each and every point in detail. First one, standard deviation. It measures the dispersion in the probability distribution. If you remember measures of dispersion, we studied variance and then standard deviation. Standard deviation was the square root of variance. It is basically the volatility or the risk of prices moving up or down. However, standard deviation is appropriate only for normal distributions. This point you have to remember in any case, in any subject, whatever you are studying. ये जो normal distribution होता है उसके लिए ही standard deviation is applicable. If there is skewness or kurtosis, standard deviation is not a reliable measure. Next is beta. Beta, again, that Gisa beta example. If beta of Tata Limited is 2, it means that if the market goes up by 1%, Tata Limited will go up by 2%. Beta is the rate of sensitivity of a stock's return to the returns on the market. So it is comparing stock's return and return on the market portfolio. Market portfolio for India you can say Sensex, or for the US you can say S&P 500. Beta measures relative risk, that is how much market risk an asset contributes to a well diversified portfolio. So market risk जो है, it is basically the risk which everyone has to face. Now the contribution of your asset to the portfolio of that market risk will be captured by beta. Third one, delta, gamma, vega and rho. Now delta, gamma, vega, rho are basically measures of derivative risks. If you know derivatives, you studied options, call, put वगैरह वगैरह, उसका ही ये measure है. Now one warning, you just need to know what is delta, gamma, vega and rho. You will not be asked about any numbers. You won't be asked any numerical MCQs on this because this is a part of level 2 and 3. Delta. Delta means sensitivity of derivative price to a small change in the value of underlying asset. Try to understand, in these, derivative means either a call or a put. Underlying asset means we can say a stock, any equity stock. Now if I want to form a formula, by delta I mean change in value of a derivative, or I can say call, divided by change in value of a stock. So you can compare the value change in stock and comparatively the value change in a call option or a put option, and you will get something known as delta. If the delta is higher, मतलब ये जो numerator होगा that will be higher. So that value of call is fluctuating more than the value of stock. So higher the volatility, higher would be the risk. Next is gamma. Gamma is the sensitivity of delta to the change in value of underlying asset. It is a second order risk. ये देखो ये delta है, it is a first order risk. Now gamma second order risk है, which is using the first order risk. Basically it is using the delta now, change in delta upon change in value of stock. This is gamma. Now vega. Vega is the sensitivity of derivative price to a change in volatility of the price of underlying asset. Now see, vega is just like delta, but there is a minor change. This can be value of a call or a put divided by change in volatility of stock. In delta, the denominator was change in value of stock. Here it is the change in volatility of stock or standard deviation of the stock. Rho, it is the sensitivity of derivative price to changes in the risk-free rate. This is basically change in value of call divided by change in the risk-free rate. Now, we can't study these in detail, but you need to understand that you need to know the formula. So if you know the formula, delta is change in value of derivative divided by change in value of underlying asset. See, in our examples, we have used call and stock and all these terms. But theoretically, call क्या होता है? Derivative option. And stock क्या होता है? Underlying asset. So just remember in terms of the theoretical terms used here, derivative price and underlying asset and so. Let's revise it once again. Delta is change in value of call divided by change in value of stock. Gamma will be change in delta divided by change in value of stock. Vega will be change in value of call divided by change in volatility of stock price. And rho will be change in value of call divided by change in risk-free rate. How do you remember the last two? Vega and volatility. V for vega, V for volatility, R for rho, and R for risk free. So the name and the denominators match. So vega volatility and rho risk free. Next is duration. Now for fixed income securities, you will use something known as duration. If you remember, if duration is equal to 3, interpretation क्या था? If interest rate increases by 1%, then price decreases by 3% for fixed income securities. So duration, it measures the interest rate sensitivity of any fixed income security. If duration is 4, then the price of the bond falls by 4% when the YTM increases by 1%. Now in fixed income you had studied YTM मतलब के interest and price have an inverse relation. तो ये जो inverse relation है, it means that if YTM increases, price will fall, YTM falls or price increases. Value at risk, next one. Value at risk refers to a minimum loss that can occur during a time period with a given probability. Try to understand VAR, value at risk का 3 part होता है. First one is minimum loss amount देना है. Second is a time period over which this loss will occur, and of course chances of this loss happening means probability. So it is measuring the tail risk, or rather I can say downside tail. If you remember, जो ये वाला tail है downside negative outcomes वाला, it is measuring this risk. Now let's see one example. VAR of 5 million with 4% probability for 1 week. See, now all the 3 items are given. Minimum loss बोला है 5 million, probability दिया है 4%, means 4% chance है, and time period is 1 week. How do we interpret it? So you expect to lose at least 5 million in 1 week 4% of the time. क्या बोला? You expect to lose at least 5 million in 1 week 4% of the time. Banks and financial organizations use VAR very often. So banks are required to report that value at risk usually. So only for banks and financial institutions. Now till now, you studied standard deviation and beta, which was usually for equity. Then you studied delta, gamma, vega, rho for derivatives. Then you studied duration for fixed income, and now VAR for banks and financial institutions. So now you know for which asset class you can use which risk measure. Last one is conditional VAR. It is an extension of VAR only, but thoda alag interpretation hai. So CVAR or conditional VAR is a weighted average of all the loss outcomes that exceed the VAR loss. It indicated expected loss that can occur when VAR loss is exceeded. Basically, VAR क्या था? A minimum loss. Say minimum loss is $2 million. You think that minimum loss will be $2 million and with some probability and so on. If $2 million is exceeded, now finally if your loss is going beyond $2 million, then how much? How much will be the loss? Expected loss when your VAR is breached. So if your VAR is breached, तो कितना loss होगा? That is conditional VAR. Even CVAR measures the downside risk or the tail risk. I'll give you an example. Say 2 million is my VAR. If 2 million is breached, then chances of loss being 3 million are 50%. Chances of loss being 4 million are 50%. Now I'll have to take a weighted average. Have a look at this. My answer starts with a line. CVAR is the weighted average of all loss outcomes that exceed VAR. So in this case, these are the two loss outcomes which exceed VAR. And if I take a weighted average of these, it will be 1.5 plus 2, which is 3.5 million. What is 3.5 million? CVAR. Even banks and financial institutions have to use CVAR as well. So these are the categories of risk measurement. Now, there is some theory. Statisticians have developed extreme value theory, which focuses only on extreme outcomes. That is, items occurring in the tails of the distributions. If this is your distribution, ये वाला जो tail है और ये वाला जो tail है, negative and positive, only on these outcomes. Anyway, this is not a part of our syllabus. Scenario analysis and stress testing are often used to complement VAR and CVAR. You studied this earlier. Stress testing refers to testing the effect on the portfolio due to change in one variable. Change one variable like interest rate and check the effect on your portfolio value. And similarly, scenario analysis is an extension of stress testing, and scenario analysis is a package which tests the effect on portfolio due to changes in multiple variables like interest rate or currency exchange rate or GDP, etc. Stress testing only change in one variable, scenario analysis more than one variable. So you can use these as well to actually measure the amount of risk you are carrying. Thank you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.